Good afternoon. My name is Darshan Shah, and I have two questions, one for Rubidi and one from Mikhail. The question, Rubidi, was that, we still have an issue in some of our indigo dyeing that the color fastness doesn't come out that thing. Even when you rub cotton, some of it comes off on the cotton, or we are told to dry clean it the first time. I just wanted to ask you, is it the variety of the different indigos that make a difference, or is it only the process that makes a difference in the color fastness?
Don't even get me started on color fastness. There is nothing wrong with our color fastness. I've got saris or fabrics or products 20 years old, and nothing rubs off. The thing is, I wouldn't know if it is the variety, it's what I work with. What we work with is Indigo tinctoria. And if you wash the fabric thoroughly, there is no chance of any dye being retained in it. It's only when we go for shortcuts that there's something left in it and rubs off, not otherwise.
Mikhail, I had a question for you. Is that I found that you were started off with just growing indigo, and then growing and marketing indigo, and then you completely diversified more and more into products, fashion, and marketing through your own development, using your own indigo into products. So is it because of indigo not being marketed that well, or not having that kind of market, and or is it some other reason?
Sorry, my presentation probably wasn't clear that we started both together. Okay. So we had the textiles and we had the indigo together. But like it's not too easy to sell indigo as a dye, because many of here who are producing the textiles have also access to indigo dyes by themselves. So he comes from the Caribbean, so people over there probably is getting indigo from him. Over in Bangladesh, probably from Living Blue. So from India, from him. So every place, in many places, the practitioners have access to indigo. So it's not that easy, I would say, because you're not the only one or two or three indigo producers in the world. But we do both together. Now we have delved into clothing, besides home textiles and fashion accessories. Thanks.
I have a question. Can I? Jenny, may I ask the question? Yeah. I am Beena Rao from Creative Bee, Hyderabad. My question is to Mr. Ambalagan. We use your indigo, Balchandran, and your indigo is the best quality that I have ever used. But I'm just curious to know what is the oil that you use. You said you add oil to the paste of indigo. Yeah. So when you extract, I'm talking about the extraction.
Yes.
Because we have taken the first crop of our indigo just yesterday, harvested, and now we are in the process. We made the tank, and at the farm, we have the dye farm, right? So, but other than indigo, all other dyes are made there, grown there. But indigo is being grown for the first time now, and it would be very nice if I can know what is the oil that you use.
No, we use whatever oil is available nearby, like groundnut oil.
Anything is good?
Anything. Yeah. It is just for defoaming purpose and nothing else. And it will just float on top of the water only, which comes out when we open the top hole, which I told you. So when we open that top hole, it will just go out. So there won't be any mixing of any oil in the actual indigo dye also. So it is just for defoaming purpose. Any oil which is available locally, like groundnut oil majorly used.
Yeah. Thank you. And I'm just curious to know from Mr. Aziz and from Mr. Ambalagan that the land that you are growing indigo is the same land. I mean, did you ever happen to discuss among yourself whether it's a black soil or it's a red soil? What is the kind of a soil that Mr. Aziz you are using for indigo farming? And Mr. Ambalagan, what kind of soil you are using?
Our soil in the Rangpur area where we do indigo is more sandy.
Sandy. Black
no.
and sandy?
No, it's sandy. It's a sandy area.
Sandy, yeah, okay.
It's a sandy soil.
Okay.
So it's used for groundnuts and other things, rice, but...
Yeah. And Mr. Ambalagan, your Tindivanam is black soil, I think, right?
Actually, madam, different places have different types of soil. Red soil is there. Sandy loam soil is there, black soil is there. Actually, which is the best is sand mixed with clay. Sandy loam soil, that is the best.
Okay.
And then even in red soil also it grows well. But
Yeah.
the best is sandy loam soil,
Okay.
from what we have seen.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, myself is Dr. Shankar, Vishabharati University. I have one question to the first speaker. That you have told that 1 acre of land requires 7 kg of seeds. So, ultimately, what is the yield percentage of indigo? I want to know. 7 kg of seeds, how much quantity of crop you have harvested, and from that, what is the ultimate indigo you are getting? That means the yield percentage.
It's a variable actually. If the farmer is not taking care of the land properly, then you will not get the proper plant mass only, first of all. I'll tell you the average.
Yeah, average.
In 1 acre, we can get about 25 to 30 kgs of indigo cake.
Indigo cake
Indigo cake
from 1 acre.
on 1 acre, yes. Considering the indigo plant is everywhere in that 1 acre,
Yeah.
no vacant land or anything.
Okay, it's
Yes.
on an average. Another question regarding the sieving process or the straining, you are using the cloths. The fabric, for the sieving or the straining purpose.
Right. Fabric,
You are
yes.
using the fabric.
Yes.
So most of the indigos may be stuck on the fabric. There is some loss in the fabric.
Definitely there will be there. We have to wash it. What we generally do is we wash it in the oxidized water. So what happens
Okay.
is the indigo again
Yeah,
comes in the
again
sediment.
it again insolubilized and it's.
Comes as a sediment, yeah.
So another question, the indigo, after indigo dyeing, because generally the VAT dyed, there's a ring dyed process. Whether the dyeing of indigo on cotton is a ring dyed, it is a completely dyeing process like other reactive dyes or other class of dyes, the synthetic dyes, because most of the denim which was dyed by the industries as a ring dyed process, and then during the abrasion the color goes off. So whether this indigo is ultimately a ring dyed process or it is an total dyeing process on the yarn. Suppose I cut the yarn from the top and see through the microscope, if it is an overall dyeing process, then the entire yarn will look like blue or red or green. But if it is a ring dyed process, then only the surface color will look like a blue and the core of the yarn will look like white as it is. So whether this indigo is a ring dyeing process or it is a complete dyeing process.
I'm only the producer of indigo.
No,
She will be able to answer.
if anyone can, I don't know, anyone can.
No, I don't know about ring dye, but we just do the normal immersion, and oxidize it and redo it. And the dye goes right through to the whole.
It looks like on the fabric or yarn, if you see on the surface, just like this, it looks like a complete dyeing process. But
it depends on the number of.
If I take out one yarn out of it
use.
and cut it through a scissor or something, cutter, and then I put it in the microscope, and from the top view, if I see, then this dye for this fabric, it will be entirely blue. The yarn will be entirely blue. But the normal VAT dyeing, the ring dyeing process, the surface color will be blue and the core of the yarn will be whiter. Is there any?
Okay, I
Yeah.
kind of understand what you have said, but how we do, as Rubiapa said, we don't do ring dye. It's when we dye the yarn or the fabric, because of its natural fiber being, and it precipitates, it goes through. So it's if you cut out inside, you will see it's indigo. But once we did experiment with leather, it was like a very basic experiment. I wanted to see what happens to leather. It has a more sensitive or sophisticated process to dye leather. But when I did the dyeing of the leather, it did become blue on each side, but in the middle, I could see that the indigo dye did not move through. It did not penetrate. So and because the process how we did the indigo dye in leather, it did not work, I think, because it was hand dyed of leather. So it did not precipitate. But in fabric, it does, the way we do.
But in general, the indigo is basically the VAT dye. It's a VAT dye, class of dye.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically VAT class of dye. The VAT dye, the synthetic VAT dye I'm talking about, the denim which is being produced by the brands, the most of the yarn they have dyed in a ball form. They are not dyeing in hank form. Like in the other dyes, the dyeing was carried out in hank form. But for indigo, the ball form or in a sheet form, those people are dyeing. So those yarns when dyed and when it is coming out for the weaving and for the denim, that yarn is having a ring dyeing effect, and that's why during the rubbing process the color goes off and it gives ultimately the good effect for the wearer. The denim which the persons are wearing, they prefer that abrasion and the color should fade out. So those, the Arvind mills, I know in that top dyeing process, that is the ring dyeing. That's why, because indigo, since it is a fat dyeing, that's why I'm asking that question. Okay, thank you.